Hey guys, STLYoungblood with you, and guess what? It's my face! And the reason I'm showing you my face today is actually because I'm going to be going through the TrackIR video. And I figure with a video like this, it's going to be important for you to not only see the setup that I'm using, but also to be able to see what my head's doing, because this is going to be head tracking after all. So, TrackIR, let's go ahead and start off by showing you what the actual setup looks like, which we're going to start off with the clip that actually goes on the headset. So, these are my trusty G35s. And what you can see on mine is I've got these three different lights. There's this one, and that one. And basically what these lights are actually going to do is it's going to allow the sensor that sits on top of my monitor to pick it up. And it's going to be able to use those 3 points to triangulate which way my head is actually facing. So let's grab the webcam real quick. And that's the sensor. Light's all wonky because the monitor's so bright, but you can see the size. Let's zoom out a little bit, and let's see if I can give it a point of reference here. Come on. There you go. So it's pretty small. I mean, that's a 23-inch monitor. So kind of interesting to see. Let's get this back on here. Okay, so we're all set up. That's enough of just FaceTime, so I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the software, and we'll go from there. Alright, so this is inside the TrackIR software suite, and actually, when we kind of look up in this area, there's two different tracking targets that they actually send when you get the Pro setup. One's the TrackIR Clip Pro, which is this one I'm using, and the other one is a Track Clip, which you actually just end up setting up on your hat, or I guess you could kind of rig it up on top of your headset somehow if you wanted to. But overall, I'm just setting it to here. Now, let's actually talk about some of this, and you can kind of see how it actually works. It's got all these diagrams over here, so it shows how my head's rotating up, down, and back, all sorts of things like that. So it's got a lot of that data. It's pretty intuitive, and this is kind of just going to be the default setup, and these are going to be, how much rotation you're actually using, how fast it actually adapts, and I've played around with this quite a bit, trying to find what I actually think works best for me. So one thing I want to show you real quick, and I'll boot up Star Citizen in a minute and show this to you too. In game, in this software, I actually decided to disable two of these motion adjustments. One was actually the Z-axis, which is in and out. In theory, that's pretty cool. And on a lot of flight sims, what it'll let you do is actually lean in, so you can get a closer look at your gauges, or maybe you look out a window. Lean in, and you can see something else, or lean back and get a greater scale or whatever. The problem in Star Citizen is when you're wearing your actual helmet, you can clip out of your helmet, and that's problematic, and that's actually going to lead to some issues where you can't see things very well. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm flying around and I'm using a HOTAS setup, there's a lot of situations where I feel like I'm like leaning in and really gearing up, and all of a sudden I lose some of my field of view because I'm zoomed in a little bit using that. So Z-axis is one thing I've turned off, and the other one is roll. I took off roll. I still want to be able to pitch up and down. I want to be able to yaw left and right, but I don't want to kind of get this weird movement as far as my tracking goes. I'm sure some people like it. It may be something I go back to and play with some more, but for some reason it's weird to get both of those movements at the same time. One of the other adjustments that I make is actually with smooth. I turn smooth all the way down to 0. Excuse me. What that'll actually do is it's going to allow for finer movements and finer control. When you've got the smoothing on, it actually is going to kind of create almost a dead zone. And when you're targeting, or when you're centering your ship on its target anyways, that can be a little bit of a problem. So take a look at what the standard setup looks like, and this is how I've actually got my Star Citizen setup as. So you can see Z and roll are already off, but I've got it set to where it's very fine movements right here, so I can kind of target a little bit better. But then the sensitivity and the rotation speed go up the further I get out on the axes. So for example, this is going to be my finer aiming with my gimbaled weapons, whereas if I want to look out to my left, I can just rotate and get all the way over there without having to turn my head. You can see somewhere in this range how far I'm actually turning my head. So it's about sideways, it's showing it. I can even look all the way around me because of these, looking out of the corner of my eye, because these are so high, I can look all the way behind me if I want to without actually turning my head all the way around. So This is what's been working better for me. I've made adjustments to pitch as well, and it's kind of exactly the same thing, or pretty damn close to it. So I'm going to show you how this actually translates in game, but for me, this is kind of what's been working, and I'm going to continue to tweak it, and I'll kind of let you know how that all plays out. Okay, so as you can see, you know, looking around all of a sudden, it's a really immersive experience, and I can imagine in the persistent universe, it's going to be pretty fun to actually play around with. So I'm going to just kind of shut up and just fly a little bit so you guys can just kind of take it in and see what you think of this. Keep in mind, my aim right now is still a work in progress with this, so it's not outstanding, but either way, here we go.
Scanning. Target destroyed. 5%. Shields. 75%. Overheating.
Zero hostile contacts remaining.
Alright guys, so there you have it. It's clearly not the most, I don't know, monumental or awesome fighting that you've ever seen. But I can tell you, for those of you that are using joysticks or HOTAS, it kind of gives you some of that functionality that others that are using the mouse actually have. Now, it's clearly not as intuitive. I mean, you have such finer control using the mouse versus tilting your head and trying to use it. So overall, I mean, it's a lot of fun. So let's kind of break this down a little bit. From an immersion aspect, I love it. You know, I think just when you're in the cockpit and you're looking around, having the ability to scan things, I think that's really helpful. And I think once you actually get into the persistent universe, it's going to be really neat. Not only just to kind of kill time when you're flying around and just taking in all the beautiful universe that we're going to be playing in, but I think there's going to be other things, like maybe things that are hard to scan, or maybe you're looking for a stealth ship, or maybe you see some hunk of metal fly by and all of a sudden you're thinking to yourself, oh, that might be something good to salvage. From that aspect, I think the immersion side of it is probably my favorite aspect to this. Now, it's still hard to hit stuff right now, and I think some of it's because I haven't really nailed down my settings that I want to be using on the TrackIR. I do have streaks when the longer I play with it, the more comfortable I get with it, and I think like in longer game sessions, I feel like I'm getting more and more accurate the longer I play because it's just the muscle memory kicking in. All in all, though, I think having the gimbaled weapons combined with the TrackIR is an awesome experience, and it really helps to kind of fill some of that gap that we've all been waiting for. And even once we get the new aiming system and the new way that it's all going to work out for joysticks and the HOTAS and the changes that they said they're going to make, I think combined with that, it's going to be a really, really good tool to have. But we're going to have to kind of see what they end up doing. It is a really steep learning curve, and I'm far from a master with it yet, but I think it's one of those things that it's at least a little bit intuitive, so you can be somewhat successful using it right off the bat, but it does take time and practice to actually feel that level of proficiency kick in. So all in all, I mean, is it worth the purchase? I absolutely think it is. You know, for me, it's been a lot of fun to use. I've enjoyed it. I think it's you know, I think it's a good tool, and I think once we get into the persistent universe, like I actually say, that side of it is going to be really helpful and fun. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep playing with these settings, and once I get to where I think it's perfect, or at least for myself, kind of like I did with my voice attack profile, I'm going to put the TrackIR profile out there for you guys to download as well. So stick around for that. If you don't follow me on Twitter, at STLYoungblood, That's probably where I'll announce it, and then I'll probably put it in like a comment of some other video. So if you guys have questions about TrackIR, let me know. If you see something I'm doing that I shouldn't be doing, please let me know. It changes. I'm still learning. I'd love to get better with it. And yeah, I'll probably do some follow-ups on these as we go. So appreciate you guys watching. Have a wonderful day, and take care.